that story.
Okay. Am I the asshole for having my daughter join a sport activity despite my wife's objections? A bit of background. My wife used to do gymnastics from the age of around 4 until 17 or 18. She was quite good, but then she had some stress injuries. She couldn't keep it up and she quit. Now she says that she actually hated gymnastics, that the atmosphere was toxic, and it gave her an eating disorder. Yeah. Still, she did it for 14 years, so I don't know how bad that actually was. We've been together for 9 years, married for 4, and have a daughter who is 6. When we were visiting her parents this Christmas, the topic of my wife's gymnastics career came up, and they ended up showing our daughter the photos of her mom from the competitions she's been in and the medals that she won. So now my daughter thinks that it's the coolest thing ever and wants to do gymnastics like her mom. Since the daughters still wanted to try gymnastics even almost a month later, I looked online and found a gym in a reasonable distance, which has a course from this week until June. I asked my daughter if she wants to do it. She said yes, so I signed her up. Wife came home from work later, so I told her about it. She really hated that idea, though, citing her previous experiences as a reason. She was angry with me for signing our daughter up for the class, but felt it was unfair toward our daughter to take it back because she was already looking forward to it. This was last week. Anyway, my daughter had her first lesson yesterday. She loved it and already made a friend. I thought that the dispute with my wife was over, but when our daughter came home from her class, she again seemed quite angry with me. Finally, I asked her what was wrong, and my wife said that she still can't get over the fact that I went behind her back with the class. In her own words, she thinks that I think I know best and that I'm disregarding her experience. She is also mad with me for putting our daughter into this allegedly toxic environment. I honestly think that this is such a non-issue, and that she's making a huge leap from daughter takes one gymnastics class to daughter becomes a professional gymnast with an eating disorder. But I'm open to having my mind changed. TLDR, my wife has bad memories of doing gymnastics in her childhood. However, daughter wanted to try it as well, so I signed her up for a class. Now wife is mad at me because I went behind her back, and our daughter is now at risk of becoming a professional gymnast. Am I the asshole?
What do you think?
Um, I don't know. I really feel like I don't have any authority to talk about this because I don't know. Like kids should be able to try stuff, but also eating disorders and toxic environments are real sucky.
Yeah, definitely. So when I read the story, I was like, well, she needs to try. Like, that's so cute. She's like, oh, I want to be like, Mom, I want to do this. And, like, whatever. But, I mean, you can make sure that she doesn't go down that road. And then also that, like, it's a good environment. If you see anything toxic happening, then you, as the parent, can have some authority. If she tells you that anything toxic is happening, you, as a parent, have some authority.
Mm.
You can make stuff happen, make it better, and you can make sure she doesn't get an eating disorder by watching how she's eating and by making sure she's not, shaming herself and saying, oh, I need to do this, oh, I need to do that, whatever. Also, she's like young, right? How
Just
old is
six.
she? 6 years old. So hopefully they're not treating 6 year olds like that. I know that they do and like dance and stuff.
Yeah.
But with this, I mean, it is a great sport to get into. But it is stressful. Like, they usually say that girls who are like in gymnastics will like get their period later because they have like such low body fat that it doesn't get,
Ooh.
they don't get it as quickly as like literally everybody else. So I definitely can understand. Like, I've actually even thought about that. Like, when I heard that and stuff,
Mm.
and how like certain sports, like where you have to have very low body fat and stuff for girls, it's like really like unhealthy.
Right.
And honestly, maybe we should just, not be so hard on the girls.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, I actually have thought about this, like, specifically with the sport. And, like, oh, if my daughter wanted to do it, would I, like, let her? And I think it's just kind of, like, hard. There's a very good chance that she's going to try it for a few months and
Yeah.
hate it. So it's like, don't crush her dreams, you know, right now. Let her just figure it out for herself.
Yeah.
And because sometimes also when you push things so hard and say you can't do them or you don't want them to be doing them, they want to do it even more, even if they don't like it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think just let it ride out. With that all aside,
Yeah.
is he an asshole for going behind his wife's back to book it, even though he knows that she probably did not want him to do that? Yeah, you are the asshole. And
Yeah.
he's an asshole in the post because he says, well, she said that she hated it, but she did it for 14 years, so I don't know. Like, what?
I've worked in fast food for almost a decade. Does not mean I liked it.
Like, oh, she did it for 14 years, so how bad could it actually be? Dude, what? She was probably felt like she couldn't leave. She also might have enjoyed certain aspects of it, but then later on realized that those aspects did not, like, they were not good enough for all of the pain and horrible things that she went through.
Right.
And also, he says that she had, eating disorder. Still, she did it for 14 years, so I don't know how bad that actually was. So he says that he doesn't know how bad her eating disorder was because she did it for 14 years.
I don't like the way this guy's talking.
This guy is an asshole to his wife in general because he's just not treating her with any sort of respect about the things that she even went through. And then he immediately wants to put his daughter in that environment.
Yeah.
Honestly, you would think as the father that he would be even more against it because he would be like, I don't want my daughter to go through that. You would think, you know, because a father is supposed to be protecting and all that stuff. But not this guy. So, honestly, if I was him, it would have just been a discussion. It would have been like, okay, do you want to give her a chance to see how she like it? Maybe it's changed over the years. We can protect her. We can make sure that, you know, she doesn't go through the same things that you went through. Also, she might just hate it in a few months anyways. Let's just give her the chance to try it out. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
But he's just, you
Right.
want to do it? Okay. Book.
Do you want to change the name of this podcast to just talk about it? Because that's what I feel like I'm saying for a lot of these stories is just talk about it. You know, your wife, you find your husband cheating, just talk about it. What was the other ones?
Yeah, literally most things are just communication.
You don't want to have a special needs child. You can't have children. Just talk about it. Be
And go to
as
the doctor.
be as one voice with your wife, with your husband. You need to be saying the same thing, especially to defend against all the questions and negative thoughts and annoying people of the world. You need to be as one.
Yeah. So, someone said, you're the asshole, especially for victim blaming your wife. She stayed for 14 years, so I don't know how bad it really was. Are you joking? That's the exact same thing people say about abused women. She was a literal child. That was all she knew. She didn't have the capacity to express what she was going through, let alone understand it. Someone said, the worst part is the fucking TLDR, where he's like, my wife is upset because she's worried her daughter will become a professional gymnast, which isn't the main issue. Yeah.
It's like, could you be right? Yes, you could be right. But are you an asshole? Yeah. Yep.
Someone said, you're the asshole. Your daughter is 6, and something like this should have required both of you to sit down and have a conversation and agree before you signed her up.
Yeah.
Not your wife expressing how upset and worried she was about the idea based on her own personal experience after over a decade in the sport where you have none,
Yeah.
and then you signing your daughter up behind her back anyway.
Yeah. Usually if somebody has an experience in an industry and the other person doesn't, we're going to go with what that person knows. If you tell me about something with psychology or photography or that kind of stuff, I'm gonna listen to you. I'm not gonna say, man of the
But the
relationship, man of the
amount
house.
of guys that are like that, where they just think that they know everything.
That's the thing, right? Nowadays, it's the I could fly the airplane if the pilot dies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's kind of an
but
example of that.
even if the girl has the most experience, I don't know if we read the story or we heard somebody else read it. But I feel like there was a story where it was like this girl is like very knowledgeable in a certain area, and then this guy was like, "No, that's not true. Nope,
Yeah.
like whatever." He has no experience, and she's just like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like, it's just that's a lot. It happens a lot, and yeah, like I can't imagine if I was talking to you about something like about psychology or photography, and you were just like, "Actually, no.
Yeah, and if I tell you how,
This is how it is."
yeah, if I tell you how a video game is programmed, you're not gonna look at me and be like, no, don't think you're right. You're gonna be like, okay, you probably know more than me about that.
I just feel like, I hope you're right.
Hope you're right. Yeah.
But like, yeah. Oh my gosh. This is just so dumb. And also, like, getting injured in a sport is kind of like assumed. Like, if you're going to do a sport for a long time,
Yeah.
you're probably going to get injured at some point. And that would be explained to your child when she's a little bit older and understands what that really means. But she's probably not going to get injured right now. But the other stuff, where it's the eating disorder and toxic environment, that's stuff that you can help with. And even getting injured. You can make sure she's doing everything correctly, that she's taking her time to stretch and do this and that and whatever else she needs to be doing. And I think that, do you want to just, you had a horrible experience and you think that no matter what, it's always going to be a horrible experience? Or do you want to make the new generation have a different experience? Again, I'm going to let that topic die and just say, are you an asshole for going behind your wife's back?
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
And you're an asshole for how you talk about her. And you need to care a little bit more about the whole situation and about how it could be a really bad situation for your daughter.
Yeah. Many levels where this is asshole.
Yeah. But also everybody said that he was the asshole on here.
Yeah.
He was deemed the asshole, so hopefully he learned something.
Mm-hmm.
And